Hey guys, Destinygundum, and today I'm going to be doing another review of a Transformers figure, Transformers R.I.D. Prime Ultra Magnus. So here he is. Sorry, a little sick. Throat's irritating, but yeah, okay. So, here he is in his vehicle mode, and this is without any weapons at all, except... yeah, but I did leave the connector port up here for his weapons. So here he is. He looks like a very nice figure. I've heard that he is a prototype mold of Optimus Prime. It's interesting. That's an interesting theory. I don't know if it's a theory or not, but I've heard from a lot of different reviewers that he was part of the original Optimus Prime mold. So I guess he's part of Prime in some way. But yeah. Yep. So let's just go over colors. You got this nice electric blue and this nice red. This nice, very flat red. This is kind of flat. This is kind of shiny. You got this silver and some gray, the normal gray that's on Transformers, and you have some white highlights here and there. And his weapon, which is his little missile launcher, very reminiscent of his G1 self, with the red tip and this gray shaft part. And he also comes with this gun, which is part of his Power Riser gimmick, where you pull down this section, and then it pulls up the hammer, and then you can lock it in place with this little blue clip right here. And yeah, but you have to pull it out a little bit because it's actually not, it doesn't line up with the clip, so you just pull it out. Sorry. So you just line it up like that, and you have his Magnus hammer. Looks very nice. It's not like the Cyberverse one, where the actual shaft of the hammer is just one large stick. Yeah, but this one looks nice. The hammer parts look identical though. But I like the Cyberverse one better because it looks less clunky and heavy. But yeah, and there's a green LED in there, which doesn't exactly match up with the whole thing. I actually got mine for cheaper. I got it at Target for like $20 because it's a manufacturing error where the way they set it up was the LED stayed on the whole time. So I don't know how long it's been on, but I'm gonna guess for more than a couple days, and it still works. So that's great. Speaking of QC, quality control, I've heard a lot about Ultra Magnus and his quality control issues. So he's got a lot of paint smudges. Good for what's actually good on mine is that he didn't really have that much, and he was the only one there too. So I got really lucky with that. He didn't have any plastic errors. No paint was all like smudged up. There are some very tiny ones here and there, but that's just being picky. But he looks great overall. I'm happy that I got a good version of this figure. So, yeah. Sorry. So, basically, his gun, his assault weapon, this is the barrel. And, yeah, he just pegs up right here. And then you can have him in his assault mode. He actually rolls pretty well for being on carpet. Yeah. And then you can take his little missile launcher. There's all these little ports all around him. It looks like he would be an Arms Micron kind of guy. So there that is. And you can also peg it into the gun because there's a port on the actual missile like that. So let's get to transformation because it's getting a little long. First, what you want to do is you want to pull out this front part of the cab, and it'll pop this part up. You flip this little grill part up, and then you just pull out the arms, or you pull back this whole cab section. It's on a hinge, and then you untab these little panels on the side, and those will be the arms. Then you just want to grab both sides of the shoulders and just pull, and then that'll reveal pretty much most of him. Then you want to flip out his hands from their little blue translucent grooves, then flip in these panels like that, so they kind of form the inside of the arms, and then you want to flip down these shoulder pads. And yeah. Then for the legs, you want to flip out the toes and pull apart the legs. Unbend his knees so he's standing up straight now. And then you want to pull out this wheel section, rotate it around, flip down the connector. He has the connectors on both sides of his legs, so it's really up to you which way you want to display him in vehicle mode. Then you want to, there's two bends right here, you bend it twice, and then it'll just clip into the inside of the leg, so it's like that. And then you do the same to the other side, and there you go. There's Ultra Magnus. Now, this is a really good figure in my opinion. The only issues is the paint and also the kind of like the transformation. For a Voyager class figure, this has a very simple transformation for $20. Now, here's a size comparison with Transformers Fall of Cybertron Optimus Prime. So here he is. So here's Prime next to Ultra Magnus, and Ultra Magnus is obviously taller because he's a Voyager class figure, but yeah, so Prime reaches about right here where his abdomen section is, if you're counting his head. But then again, Prime is a very small figure, so there that is. You can put his weapons on his arm like this, or you can be kind of like that. You can be kind of G1 and then just stick it on his shoulders, but you only have one. Sorry, flap somewhere. Yep. But he only has one, so it kind of sticks out like that. And you can unpeg it. So you can see kind of the color scheme carried over. He's got this nice little blue bit in here. They use red accents in here, white accents here and there. You got some yellow for the eyes, and silver for the face. Yeah, and the sculpt is just amazing. But I really wish they could have done something about his legs. They look kind of slim, but that kind of adds to his bulky build. Like up here, he's very Magnus type. Also, you'll notice that even though he doesn't have any back kibble, that's kind of an issue because this back cab part just hangs off here, and it kind of eliminates stuff from his... eliminates kind of like the big Magnus-y type he is. If you just covered that up, maybe they could have put another bend in here and folded it in, because they do have enough room in there. It's all clear and hollow throughout this whole figure, so that's why people say he kind of feels cheap, but he's nice and strong. He has, the plastic quality is pretty good. It's pretty much the same as Fall of Cybertron Prime, except he's a little bit more filled out. Like, he has more plastic on him than probably this guy does. So yeah, you can take his little assault gun. There's a whole bunch of ports around here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ports, which you can plug into any parts of his body where they contain the 5mm peg. So yeah, there we go. And then you have his assault cannon, or assault gun kind of thing. So yeah, he can hold that. I kind of wish that they would just give him a separate weapon, like the Magnus hammer from the Cyberverse line, and the assault cannon would be something different. Because the assault cannon looks cool, but this little hammer thing hanging out doesn't look cool. But yeah. And, yep. So for articulation, his head rotates 360. He's on a ball joint, but you'd have to fiddle with it. Arms rotate 360 and go in and out. They go all the way forward, all the way backward, bend at the elbow 90 degrees, shoulder pads move up and down, wrist is on a ball joint, rotates 360, waist rotates 360, but it bumps into this back cab section. Legs go up about that far, back about that far, out about that far, rotates at the thigh, bends at one point at the knee, and his foot moves like that. So there he is. There's Ultra Magnus. I mean, there's really not much to say about him. I can show off his hammer mode. Just flip this out. And then you can peg the hammer into his hand. It's kind of hard to get in there because of the secondary handle, but you can get it in there, and he can wield the hammer. And he looks very nice with his giant blue hammer. He looks like he's going to smash some Decepticons. I think it's interesting how his release corresponded with Thundertron, because my assumption is that after Thundertron found Cybertron but realized that there's no one there, he probably like looked for Optimus Prime and Megatron, and probably Ultra Magnus was following him because he looks like the type who would be traveling alone on probably some starship. But yeah, so there he is. And let's just wrap up overall this figure. Overall, the pros of this figure: he looks very nice. He's got pretty good articulation, and the color just looks amazing. His color scheme is nice. The cons are his sculpt kind of provides these weird stuff. Like, notice how his thighs are like that. They're bulky, but if you rotate it, it looks all weird now. But I guess that's normal with animated stuff at the same time. But they pulled it off pretty well. The articulation in the shoulders kind of messes things up a little bit. But that's part of the transformation. But he does not get as much of a out movement as normal Transformers do. But yeah. And also, I wish they would have designed legs differently, because these look a lot like RC's legs. And I wish this section would have did the folding around thing and just pulled down so they would become part of his ankle. And also they could have given him some ankle articulation so he could stand up better. But yeah, overall he's a good figure. I recommend you picking it up. Don't pay more than retail though, because if they do release a Power Riser version, I expect it to be a better version of him. And yeah, pretty much that's it for this review, guys. See ya.